In our country, we're allowed to have firearms because we have a Second Amendment. And that Second Amendment was put in place to protect the citizens from enemies, both foreign and domestic, to provide a means of having an equalizer for personal protection. And because of that, we can do so many other things not related to the Second Amendment with firearms, to include studying them and collecting them. In my case, some of you may know that I enjoy studying and collecting military surplus firearms and reproduction black powder revolvers like this Leech and Rigdon reproduction from Uberti. So when it comes to studying the firearms that I own or the firearms that one day I would like to own, I have different sources that I can use. One thing I can do is visit museums. They have a wealth of knowledge there, and they actually have some of the original firearms and accessories and things that went with them that you can actually see for yourself. Another thing is going to things like the Antique Arms Show that I like to go to, that happens in my area and happens all across the country, where they specialize in these older guns. And on occasion, somebody might actually let you handle one even if you're not interested in purchasing it. There is, of course, the internet, which sometimes you have to kind of glean through some of the things in there to find some accurate information, because some things are just copied and pasted. I mean, I even do it in the description section of my videos. So it's a good idea to do a little bit of fact checking or check multiple sources when you're doing research on these firearms on the internet. But the old-fashioned go-to that has always worked for me, way before there was an internet, because I am an old guy, are books. I love having books about firearms, and I've been collecting books since the early 1980s. So in the case of this Leech and Rigdon revolver, I was able to find a lot of good information on the internet, but I still wanted more, and I ended up finding a book that is supposed to be specifically about this revolver. I was lucky enough to find it in used like new condition on Amazon, so I ordered it, and it came in the mail in this thick cardboard envelope. It's got some tape here on the back to reinforce it. I think it's just holding the flap in. So I'll get out the buck knife and see if I can open this up. I'm going to be kind of careful doing this. Just cut right along the edge here. See. Yep, there we go. Okay. There's a packing slip inside with the Amazon order number. And it's in a plastic bag here. It's not sealed in the bag. Just slide it out of here. And there's a thanks for your order from rwmilitarybooks.com. New listings added constantly. Alright, I'll include the address to Military Books, Richard P.W. Williams. So that would be rwmilitarybooks.com. I'll include this in the description section. So it's a hardcover book, and it's got a dust cover on it. It's got a paper dust cover on here. Yeah, kind of reminds me of what we did with our school books when I was in elementary school. I'm dating myself now. The edge of the dust cover here is torn along the spine, and you can see the original Confederate Colt. So this is used, but it looks like it's in fairly good condition. Now let's open it up and see. The first page here is a little bit faded. Yeah, this is a little bit of fade, a little bit of yellowing around the edge. But the original Confederate Colt, the story of the Leech and Rigdon and Rigdon-Ansley revolvers. And this is by William A. Albaugh III and Richard D. Steuart. Contents. It's a picture of the revolver assembled and broken down. Is that a list of specifications here? Markings. And then I guess it starts with the Charles H. Rigdon story here in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm going to have to do some reading on this. Yeah, this is an older book. The stitching here on the spine is kind of making it a little bit difficult to turn pages. I should be able to read this. It would make it difficult to scan. Columbus, Mississippi. This ought to be about the time they started making them, I believe. No, they started in Memphis, I think, but they didn't make a whole lot there, and then they moved and then to Greensboro, Georgia, and I believe that's when the Confederate government took over the plant, and they only made a few more. Augusta, that would be the end of it. Yeah, this will make some interesting reading. And then the war is over, so it'd be kind of interesting to see, probably talking about them going back into business, making items in peacetime. And then here is some pictures in the back. The Shank and McClanahan revolver. Leech and Rigdon purchase of property in Columbus, Mississippi, 1862. And then here's, it looks like some of the swords that they were making in Memphis before they got into making revolvers. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. Yeah, the book is in, I mean, acceptable condition. I'd like to see something a little bit nicer, but considering how rare these are, I'm lucky to have this. So I'm going to be doing some research, I'll be doing some reading, and I might be able to include some of the information I find in future videos where I can talk more about this revolver. But it's good to have sources like this because there are things you can find in these old books that you're just not going to find on a website. Thanks for watching.